How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Edgar, and this channel is about personal finance, real estate investing, stock market investing, and personal development. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to subscribe. In today's video, we're going to be going over some personal finance tips for teens. Your late teens and your early 20s will be some of the most important years in your life because this is when you will begin to transition from depending on your parents to depending on yourself and making your own life choices. When you graduate from high school, you will have to decide if you want to go to college or not. And if you don't, then you need to decide what kind of work you want to do. And if you're going to college, then you need to decide what college you're going to. Are you staying close to home or moving away? And what career path you want to follow. Plus, at this point, you're going to begin handling your own finances. So if you have a job, you must decide how much of that money you're going to spend and how much you're saving. And if you're going to college, you need a way to pay for it. So you must decide if there's a way to pay for college without using student loans, and if there's not, then you need to decide how much in student loans are you taking out. Way too often, many teens and young adults are told to have fun when they are young, that they will never be that young again, so enjoy it now. But I'm willing to bet the people saying those things are people who did not take advantage of opportunities when they were young. So when they got to their 30s and even 40s, they had to go get jobs and begin taking things seriously. But the problem is now they're going to be trapped at a 9 to 5 their entire life, and because now they have kids and bigger responsibilities, they cannot afford to start that business they've always wanted to, or they get trapped in a cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. And all of this is the result of not willing to sacrifice a few years when they were younger so they can have freedom for a majority of their life and also give their kids a better life than they had. So you have to ask yourself if you would rather give up a few years of going out and having fun so you can have 30, 40, even 50 years of being able to travel, buy yourself whatever you want, and never having to worry about how you're going to pay the bills. Or would you rather party throughout your late teens and early 20s, but then live the rest of your life living paycheck to paycheck, never seeing your kids because you're always working just to pay the bills and never being able to do the things you've always wanted to? At the end of the day, the only person who can make the choice is you and no one else. So if you're someone who's willing to sacrifice a few years early in your life so you can live the rest of your life like many others can't, then this video is for you. So the first thing you can do to help yourself achieve financial success is become educated on personal finance. I mean, the topic of personal finance is so important, and I would argue it's just as important, if not more important, than many of the other subjects that are taught in school. And because school doesn't teach you anything about personal finance, you really need to take initiative and learn yourself. Now, there are many subjects within the topic of personal finance, and they're all important in one way or another. But the first subject you should learn about is money management. Now, there are many people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling financially. And many times it's not because they're not making enough money, but instead it's because they do not know how to manage money. You could be making over $200,000 a year and still be struggling financially. In fact, there is data on this. According to an article that was published by CNBC, about 32% of people who are making over $200,000 are running out of money between paychecks. So what this tells us is that it doesn't matter how much you're making, if you don't know how to manage your money, you will always be living paycheck to paycheck. The next subject within personal finance you should learn about has to do with debt. This is also very important, especially when you are young, because if you take on too much debt early in your life, it will hold you back for many years in the future. One of the most common types of debt that many young adults get stuck with is student loans. And even though college can be a great thing for you, you really need to be careful with this because it can take you a very long time to pay them back. So if you go to college and you need to take out student loans, only take out the bare minimum you need. Then you need to learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. An example of good debt would be a mortgage on a rental property or taking out a loan to buy equipment for your business. And this is good debt because that investment property will go up in value and provide you with cash flow, and the equipment will help your business grow and increase revenue. Now, an example of bad debt would be using your credit card to buy consumer goods like clothes and shoes, or paying for a vacation with your credit card, and this is bad debt because those things will not provide you with any long-term benefits and they will not make you any money. Knowing the difference between good debt and bad debt can be the difference between living your entire life trying to stay one step ahead of the credit card companies versus achieving your financial goals faster. The third topic of personal finance you need to learn about has to do with saving and investing. Think of managing your money as step one, and once you become good with spending less than you make, then the money that is left over has to go somewhere, and the first place it will go is your savings. Now, the purpose of these savings is for an emergency fund, so that way whenever you have an expense that you were not expecting, you have some money that you can use to cover that expense without having to use debt. Then when it comes to investing, the sooner you start, the more time your money has to compound and make you more money. And then when you take that money and reinvest it, your money will grow even faster. For example, if you started investing when you were 20 and you invested $500 every month at 8% return, then by the time you turn 60, you will have over 1.7 million. However, if you start investing the same $500 every month at the same 8% return, but you started at 35, by the time you turn 60, you will only have about $480,000. So the sooner you start investing and the more you can invest, the more money you will have in the future. so now you can retire early or go buy yourself that car you've always wanted. The next item on this list that will help you achieve financial success has to do with your career. When you finish high school, you really only have two options when it comes to your career, and that is you can either go to college and get a degree or you can go right into the workforce. If you choose to skip college and go right to work, then you need to decide on a career path, and the amount of options you have are endless, and of course some options are better than others. However, if you want to get to the point where you are financially successful, you're going to need to find a job or career that will help you achieve your goals, and that could be anything from starting your own business to finding a high-paying position that does not require a college degree. What you don't want to do is skip college and end up working a job that pays you minimum wage or close to minimum wage, because at that point you will never get to the point of being financially free and being able to travel and enjoy life. However, the only exception to this is if you're working a low-paying job while you work to build your business, and this is okay because it's only short-term. And once your business gets going, then that will help you achieve your financial goals. The second option you have once you graduate high school is going to college, and college can either be a great thing that really benefits you throughout your life, or it can also be something that holds you back. For example, let's say there are two teens who just recently graduated high school and both are going to college. However, teen number one transferred to a four-year college right after high school and began taking general education classes. Plus, he began taking a few random classes until he decided on a major. Then, after a couple of semesters of doing that, he finally decided on a major. But then 2 semesters after that, he changes his mind and he decided he does not want to go at that major anymore. So he changes his major to a different one. So now the classes that he was taking for the first major do not count for the second major. So now he has to take even more classes to meet the minimum requirement for graduation. And because of this, it takes him 5 years to complete his degree. And the career he chose has a decrease in job demand and it only pays a salary of $30,000. And on top of that, this teen took out several student loans to pay for college. So now he has some $70,000 in student loans. Now compare that to teen number two, who instead of transferring to a four-year college right after high school, he went to a community college where he completed his general education classes. And while you're at community college, he had a part-time job. Plus, he got some scholarships, so he left community college with zero debt. Then once he transferred to a four-year college, he knew exactly what major he wanted. So all the classes he took counted for that major. So in total, teen number two completed his degree a full year sooner than teen number one. And teen number two still kept working a part-time job while in school. So he only took out a student loan of $5,000. Then the career path that teen number two chose has a growing job demand. And as a result, he was able to get a job that pays $80,000. Even though both teens went to college and got their degree, teen number one has $70,000 in student loans, and the jobs he is able to get are not high-paying jobs, which means he is going to have a hard time paying off his student loans, and that is something that is going to hold him back financially for many years. On the other hand, teen number two made some better choices that gave him an advantage, and the first good choice was going to a community college. In reality, it does not matter if you do your general education classes at a community college and then you transfer to a four-year college, or if you go straight to a four-year college, because the degree that you will get at the end of the day is going to be the exact same one. So if you plan on going to college, finish your general education classes at a community college and then transfer to a four-year college, because the amount of money you will save will make a big difference. Then something else you should do to help you save money and reduce the amount of debt you have to take on while you're in college is find a job or another way to make some money. Even if you're not making a whole lot of money during that time, anything you can make will help limit the amount of debt you have after college. And as I mentioned before, that will give you a financial advantage over someone who leaves college with large amounts of debt. And the next thing you should do if you're going to college is know what career path you want to follow, so you are not taking classes that do not count for your degree. Then you should pick a major that has a strong employment demand and a career that pays a high salary, because the more you earn, the easier it will be to pay off any student loans, and the more you will have to save and invest. So if you plan on going to college, keep some of these things in mind because they will help you achieve your financial goals sooner. The next piece of financial advice for teens and young adults is that when you are young, that is the best time to take a risk. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of risk you take when you gamble your money in Vegas or the kind of risk you take when you rob a bank. I'm talking about taking a risk on starting a business or taking a risk with your career. For example, if you've always wanted to start a business, then the best time to do that is when you are young, because if it does not work out or you lose money, then you still have many more years in front of you to try again. Plus, when you are young, you have a lot more time available to invest into your business because you don't have some of the responsibilities that come with being in your 40s and having kids. And the more time you can invest into your business, the better chances you will have of making that business a success. Then an example of taking a risk in your career can be accepting a job that will help take your career to the next level, but it requires you to move across the country. Something like this would be more likely to happen when you are young with nothing to hold you back versus getting the same offer once you are married with kids, because now you have to think about relocating your kids. Then you also have to consider your spouse and their job. Even though starting a business and taking a risk with your career is not impossible when you are older, it will be much more difficult than when you are younger. So if you've ever wanted to start a business or you have an opportunity to take your career to the next level, you should take advantage of that. So with that being said, those are some things you should keep in mind if you are in your teens or early 20s and you want to become successful and achieve your financial goals. And if you're beyond that age, then share this with someone who is still young and you want to see succeed. If you enjoyed this video or you found any of this information helpful, it would really help me out if you drop a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.